We've selected one of today's graduates to speak about her experiences at National Louis University. Local teacher and artist Stacy L. Thomas will be receiving her EDD in Curriculum, Advocacy and Policy today. Stacy was raised in Evanston, Illinois, and currently teaches and resides in the northern suburbs of Chicago. She completed her undergraduate degree at Northern Illinois University in visual arts and holds a master's degree from National Louis University. As a teacher, she's made a difference in the lives of hundreds of children. From her first teaching job as a substitute and then paraprofessional and now as a certified teacher, she's taught for 18 years in the school district serving the community of North Chicago and the Great Lakes Naval Base. During that time, in addition to her assigned teaching duties, she's also served as a resident artist, contributing her artistic talent throughout the district. 3 years ago, as a newly appointed art teacher, Thomas promoted the artwork of her students by organizing exhibitions at Northbrook Court and Gurney Mills malls. She continues to make sure that the talents of her art students receive the recognition that they deserve beyond just their own school community. Ms. Thomas is also an active member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, where she's chaired and served on committees pertaining to youth initiatives and college scholarships. Being concerned that fine arts are often cut from school curricula due to budget constraints, Thomas and her co-teachers have worked tirelessly with administration to maintain the fine arts, including visual, music, dance, and theater in her district. Ms. Thomas received the Teacher of the Year Award from the National Association of University Women in recognition of her many accomplishments as an educator. As a single mother and a 2-time breast cancer survivor, she is in a unique position to depict strong-willed women through her poetry, paintings, and scholarly work. Her dissertation is entitled Positionality Matters: School Choice Decisions Based on Ethnographic Accounts of African American Parents. She's always felt that she had a legacy to fulfill and a path to pave the way for her son and for her students. Please assist me in welcoming your classmate, Stacy L. Thomas, to the podium.
Well, first of all, thank you so very much for that wonderful introduction. I couldn't have said it better myself. Actually, that's a little bit of a joke because we're actually required to write our own introductions. So. But it sounded really good coming from someone else, so thank you very much. And I'll also let you in on a little bit of secret. My family did not know that I was speaking here today. So surprise, Mom. The only person that was trusted with the secret was my godfather, and he is a licensed psychologist, so I knew that secret wasn't going anywhere. So thank you. Audience, I need your help a little bit with some lyrics. If you know them, silently think along or maybe even speak along. As I look back over my life and I think things over, I can truly say that I've been blessed. I have that's right, I have a testimony. Now, I know that some of you all are thinking that, well, this is a commencement ceremony, this is not a church service, but these are the inspirational words of the 1995 Sounds of Reverend Clay Evan and the Ark Mass Choir, Meek Records. And the reason I'm saying that is because National Louis has always taught us to cite everything that we see, write, and say. That's all. I want you to understand that I felt that this song was most appropriate given my culture, my positionality, and my faith. You see, when it all comes down to it, we all have a testimony. Testimony is not just a religious word. Testimony, as Merriam's dictionary states, is an open acknowledgement. Now, the Latin root for testimony is testis, meaning witness. Now, there is a connection that's derived from the same origin. I'm going to let y'all Google it, but you can figure it out. You see, we all have a story to tell. We didn't just wake up one day as a teenager and say, you know, as soon as I graduate from high school, I'm going to get a 4-year college degree, and then I'm going to graduate on time, and then that's in 4 years, not 4.5 or 5. And maybe I'm going to take a gap year if that happens, or maybe I'll go straight into graduate school and obtain a master's and get a good paying job and work my way through contractual years, and then go to school to get my doctorate or my PhD in education. It's just going to be smooth sailing. No roadblocks. Yeah, that could work in the land of utopia. We need to wake up. This is the real world with real people, real children, real family situations, real illnesses, real school schedules, and assignments that demand our undivided attention. Whether you are a full-time student all the way down to a continuation dissertation student like myself, we all had roadblocks. It's inevitable. We have a testimony. You see, my testimony began and involved learning how to be a divorcee, roadblock. See, I was a military wife trying my best to maintain a household while my spouse was on long deployment serving his country, our country. I was the one that just could not sit still and looked for every opportunity for my church and in my community wherever we were stationed. And since I had a college degree, there was no use in just sitting around the house and engaging in the latest military wife gossip and sitting and waiting for my man to come home, or, you know, I stayed employed, and whether it was accepting a temp position at the local Sam's Club, holding up a tray saying, "Would you like a cocktail, weenie? They're found in your frozen section." Or whether it was taking my infant son to the babysitters while I either went home or went into the office and pounded out those billable hours with the Child and Family Service in Honolulu, Hawaii. I did whatever it took to earn my weight and earn my own money. And speaking of raising a wonderful son, I did that through a battle with breast cancer in 2004. Roadblock. My son was in kindergarten at the time, and the two of us had already separated from that military lifestyle several years earlier, and we returned home to live with my mother. How she graciously opened up her home to us. Thank God for parents. Yes, ma'am. Nobody knew within a few short years that after relocating back to the homestead that I would be in for the biggest battle of my life. In fact, on the second opinion and the diagnosis conversation with an oncologist, I explained to him, I said, I've never experienced, I don't have any physical or visual ailments. How could this cancer thing already be at stage 2? And he quietly sat next to that big oak desk and he said, you know, sometimes I compare this to the Titanic. It's like a ship just sailing in the middle of the night in the dark fog, and then all of a sudden, boom, an iceberg, which is nothing more than a roadblock in the water. Just inside my final 5-year remission from my bout with chemo and radiation and adjusting to a new normal that included assuring my son not to be afraid of mommy when she takes off her prosthetic wig or her bandana back in 2005. A reoccurrence happened 4 3/4 years later. Roadblock. The doctors this time, they had to treat it with more aggression. Well, the outcome, you see me standing here today, I did survive. Thank you. And not only that, but I was able, through all, to walk the stage that summer with my MAT from National Louis University on time. Thank you. And then just to throw a couple little more sprinkles on top, in 2013, I spent my Mother's Day in the hospital after suffering a stroke. It was a mini stroke nonetheless, but it was still a roadblock. All the while, I was trying to manage my way through the NLU doctoral program. And I gotta tell you, if it hadn't been for my faith and my continuous family support each and every time, I would not have made it so easily. You see, I have a testimony. Now, let's not forget the financial responsibility of tuition. We all know that college isn't cheap, but we certainly got what we paid for by applying ourselves and hooking up with the right advisors, the right professors, the right supporters, the right friends with the same mindset. And speaking of support, I'd like to offer my deepest sense of gratitude first to my God, who is the head of my life and who knows that he's not going to place any roadblocks in front of me if I couldn't clear them. You know that reference to whenever God closes a door, he opens a window? Well, I would just imagine my house just having all sorts of windows and me just steadily trying to climb out. Next, my family. Primarily my mom and my son Nate and my family, my nearby family and far away. Also, those that are listening to us on live stream. I know all my family couldn't make it here today, but I truly love each and every one of you for being a precious part of my testimony. And next, of course, my esteemed professors, Dr. Efron, Dr. Terry Smith, Dr. Price, and Dr. Rashid, and even my fellow friends that share the podium or share the stage with me today. Thank you. And of course, I can't forget a very special support group, the ones who I refer to as the DIS crew. DIS being short for dissertation. Now, I'm not going to mention them by name because they know who they are, and we've been classmates already, but through our different courses in our journey, we came together in one assignment in Scholarly Habits that was run by Dr. Terry Smith, to the point to where we came together as a group and we created a presentation which was a parody of The Wiz, which is the urban version of The Wizard of Oz, teaching the newest Doc Fellows how to ease on down that yellow brick road toward the land of dissertation, which is symbolized obviously by final completion or the terminal degree after hurdling the various methods and the roadblocks, also referred to as the wicked witches and the evil gestures and requirements of quantitative and qualitative research. It was good. It was a Broadway hit. We did present at a few symposiums. Outside of class, I feel comfortable in saying that with this bond, this unspeakable bond that I had with my support groups and master's students, I encourage you that if you do decide to go on to your doctoral program, get a support group, definitely. There was nothing that a simple talk or a group dinner or a trip to the ice cream parlor or a shared bottle of sangria, we had a few of those. The ice cream, not the sangria, Mom. There's nothing that those things couldn't fix. Now, I consider myself an amateur poet, and my son actually turned me on to this so much to the point that I aesthetically wove a few cultural poetic lines into my dissertation, and I found it appropriate to write one specifically for this occasion, the NLU graduates, class of 2019. So here we are, decorated graduates of NLU, standing tall and feeling true, beholding and upholding the dedicated spirit of platinum and blue. Eventually, the annoying embers of fire that tried to burn a hole through our goal and actually turned into the desire to push through. So here we are, seated in our ornated caps and hoods and gowns and robes and velvet of black, making us often wonder and think back to where it all began. We stumbled through the late nights of balancing family and work and unexpected frights, filing through the multiple syllabi daily, making us better than the year before. So here we are. Many challenges have been met, many goals have been set, and after this day of celebration, when you are home, standing in front of the mirror alone, and I want you to think of your divine higher power or the motivational spirit that kept you afloat. Remind yourself of the testimony that you said, read, or wrote, and realize while looking into your own eyes that he or she ain't through with you yet. Congratulations to the National Louis University graduating class of 2019, and remember to hold on to that testimony. Thank you.